Live now. We're good.
Awesome. Welcome to the Land Flipping Formula Group weekly live session. I'm Abdel, and with me is Aaron Perez and Mike Novak, who is a student with us. How are you guys doing?
Good,
Real
man. How
well,
you
man.
doing
We're
today?
doing good.
Doing good, good. Now, Aaron, I know you just got back from traveling. How was that?
Yeah, it was good. I got back from Vegas, so I'm up in Idaho again. But yeah.
No. Mike, how about yourself?
Yeah, doing good. Over here in Western Massachusetts, it's a rainy day here today in Western Mass, but it's all good.
Hell yeah. Cool,
Okay,
cool.
I think
Well,
the
yeah. Well,
internet is a little spotty right now.
all right. Well, we'll just go through it, man. We'll push through it. But
Go for it.
uh, yeah. So I want to welcome everyone who's watching right now. If you're watching this live, let us know you're watching this live by leaving a comment section, leaving some hearts, some likes, so we know who's watching, right? So we can get some interaction in here. Right? If you are watching a replay, make sure to type in replay to so that we know who's watching this later on and we can interact with you guys after also, right? So today we got something special for you. It's been myself or Abdiel for the past maybe like 2 months,
Yeah.
but today we got our friend Mike Novak. He's a student, like Abdel said, and we're just gonna go into kind of see what he's been doing, how his journey's been, and talk about some deals that he's done, and also just learn from his experience. Right? He's been doing this for a good amount of time. Um, One of the deals when I spoke to him beforehand, I was like, "Hey, what's been one of your best deals? What's been something that you've been able to accomplish?" He said, "Oh well." With one deal, he was able to turn $900 into $12,000 on terms, and so that's crazy margins. You can't make that with any other type of real estate investment. And so, it's going to be cool to be able to hear from that. But yeah, Novik or Mike, I don't know. What do people call you, Novik or Mike?
Yeah, I mean both. Yeah, I'm growing up, and my buddies here, everybody calls me Novak. It's one of those things, last name thing. But yeah, man, either one's cool.
All right, cool. All right, for some reason it just slid off the tongue, so I think I'm just gonna call you Novak from here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess I'll introduce myself. So Mike Novak, I'm out of Western Mass, and I'm just going over a year now in land investing. So I started seriously probably beginning of last April, and since then I'm on my 18th deal right now. So I've bought and sold 16. I have 2 in house now, so those will be my 18, and then I have a couple more prospects going on. So kind of came up through learning through some of the forums. I always knew I wanted to be in real estate, but never knew how to get started. Didn't really know much about wholesaling. Didn't have enough cash to, start buying a house or anything like that, or didn't know how to go about it. And I kind of happened upon, land investing and through like the REI tipster groups and stuff like that. So did a lot of self-learning, kind of got a feel for things, and then kind of took some more action after a little bit, and joined the land investing pros group, and kind of filled in the holes or the dots, of things that I kind of was missing, and kind of helped me go ahead and move forward in taking action. So my method has really been a lot of what's taught there through blind offers, and definitely have tried some other things and do a lot of other things now as well. But yeah, a lot of mailing, and like I said, picked up 16 deals. Got 2 in the hopper right now, and it's been great. And really now looking to continue to scale, become more efficient, and really systematize my business so I can kind of take this to the next level.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So
Nice.
let's dissect everything that was said there, because you got a cool track record. You've been able to go through a lot in the past year. So you started last April. Let's start with that. Like you said, you always wanted to invest in real estate. What were some other strategies that you checked out, and why did you not go with that and decide to go with land flipping?
Well, I mean, I didn't know where to start. I've just always, I had my real estate license, from years ago. Nothing I did it for about a year. It wasn't really something I did, long term. And then I was just like, everybody talks about, flipping houses is like the glamorous thing, and then I started, learning more about wholesaling, and then I started, looking at the Burr method and stuff like that. And I'm just like, there's all these, different strategies. There's so many different ways to make money in real estate.
Right.
And I said, how can I do this now with, really no money? And, knowing now I could have definitely, jumped more into a wholesaling type situation. But at that time I was like, I came across land somehow, and I was like, man, this is something I could definitely, start doing myself. And it's funny, I'll talk about my first deal I ever had is I went on Zillow and I just put in, some of those saved searches, like email me when this comes up. And here in Western Mass, there's an area called the Berkshires. So that's in Western Mass, and it's a place where people from New York go, and it's really like a woodsy destination type area. And this 8.1 acres came up for $5,000 on my list. And I'm like, you don't have to know anything about anything, real estate, land, or anything to know that $5,000 for 8 acres, you got yourself a deal there. And I ended up, it's a funny story that the guy listed it. I called him right away. He's like, you're third in line. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I'm getting this. Someone's grabbing that. Come to find out that Sunday when he was showing it, happened to be this crazy ice storm. And he called me and he's like, I'm canceling it. I'm taking the listing down. Nobody's going. I'm not showing it. It's over. And I'm like, oh, man. I was like, if I hop in my truck and go up there and take a look at it right now and tell you I'll give you 5, can we just do it? And he said, yep. So a trip that should have taken an hour took me about 2 hours through an ice storm, locked it up, went through like a lawyer, did all this stuff that, looking back now, I would have done it so much differently. But I picked that thing up for $5,000, $6,500 with the lawyer fee, tried to get it perked, did all this other, it failed to perk. Yeah. All said and done, long story short, I sold it for $17,000, but I could have got probably close to like 26 to 30 if I passed that perk. But that was my first deal, and I, ever since then, I got that taste in my mouth where I'm like, man, this is it.
That's still some really good profit on that first deal. And I mean, you took initiative and everything, so that's good return for your first profit, for your first deal. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. And with that, like you said, you probably do a lot of. I'm already listening to the story. I'm like, oh man, I would have done so many things differently. You too. Like now you realize, like, wow, I could have done this instead, or you probably didn't even have to go drive out there. Like, you know what? I know it's a good deal, and you're gonna go get it, right?
Right. Oh yeah. It's a learning experience, and I, as I've gone through this, I mean, being a year in, I'm still so green to it. I feel like a rookie. I mean, there's so much more for me to learn, but I must say, just, doing deals, getting out there, taking action, getting deals under your belt, messing up, learning things. I mean, that's the only way to go about it. I mean, you can learn and learn and learn, take classes, read things, all that stuff, but you're never going to, really succeed or really, really learn until you take action, get your feet wet, and, experience all the things there are to experience and mess up and learn from those mistakes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have that where they freeze up. They're too afraid to lose or of the risk. But that's really the only way to receive a reward, is to just go out there and do it. And if you mess up, do it again, learn from your mistakes, and you'll see a return. I mean, and then in this business, you're very likely to get a return. It's like almost guaranteed.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're, that's almost it. So I've lost money on one deal, and that was just a bad deal, and I shouldn't have jumped on it. But luckily, it was a small lot. I got it for like $400 in New Mexico, and so I was like, and I wasn't selling. It was a bad buy, and I was able to eventually sell it. I didn't make any money on it, but everything other than that has been profitable for me. And like Abdel said, you just got to take action. If you follow the formula that we teach, and if you do your due diligence and you go through the whole process of acquiring it the right way, it's going to be really, really hard for you to lose money. Right? Yeah. And this is a business where there are so many properties out there, to where if the property isn't right, like if you're not feeling good about it, you don't have to jump on that. There's gonna be another one. Right?
There's so much opportunity. It's just so vast.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways to go about it too. I mean, there's so many different methods. There's, dealing with the lower end lots, like you're saying, picking them up for, couple grand or a couple hundred, and being able to turn those around on owner financing. And if you're buying something low enough, it's called like the Yahoo theory, almost like any Yahoo will buy it, on a owner financing deal. It could be, something in the desert, but I've kind of moved on a little bit more from that and kind of trying to go up to a little bit more higher market value properties, and a little bit now moving away from doing some of the self-closing things as well. So I'm trying to step out of my business a little bit and be more of the guy on the phone closing deals and getting it done from that standpoint, and then letting the rest kind of flow through a system where I'm not as involved, because the amount of time, effort, and all that stuff that I put into a lot of the self-closing, which I'm glad I did, and I've learned a lot through it, but it's a little bit something that I've been trying to move away from a little bit now.
Definitely. No, that's cool. That's cool, man. Yeah, and that's just the progression of it. If you're starting out, you don't need much money to get into this. Like you said, you can buy land, and I bought land for cheap, like less than $500 sometimes, and it's a good place to start. And obviously, the whole point of this business is to make money. And so, as you're making more money, you can invest in more land, and you can invest in bigger properties. You feel more comfortable with working with bigger numbers, and it just keeps going up from there.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing, is that it's important that you have a linear process, or process that you follow. Like, there's so many ways of doing this, but once you have some systems down and process down, you'll be able to scale your business, be able to grow a lot faster, and just find a lot more deals and close them, and then sell them. Yeah. So and that's the great thing about following a course or learning it a certain way, and just special.
Exactly.
Definitely. And I'll say, like, being around a network of people or working with people that are like-minded and doing the same thing, and, have the same goals, is going to be, it's going to propel your whole process. I definitely am a proponent for, getting a class, or, networking with people who are doing what you want to do, or, something like that, and just working with them, JV with people, learn from other people. There's so many ways to attack the land business. So it's definitely, just exploring those and seeing the opportunities and seeing where you fit into the picture.
Definitely. Yeah. And so for you, Mike, with all of this experience and everything that you've gone through in the past year, what's been, I guess we can go into some specific deals, or as specific as you want to get into it, but what's been one of your most easiest deals where you're like, wow, that was an easy way of making money?
Well, so I came across this guy, and I guess he's a wholesaler, is how I would describe him, but he purchases. So he's a wholesaler. He buys properties and sells them to other investors or retail buyers. And I came across this guy randomly. I'm not going to say how I came across him, but it was just funny how I did. And he was selling a property, and I reached out to him, and I made him a lowball offer on it. And he ended up, we went back and forth, and I ended up purchasing the property, and I picked it up for $1,600 from him. And he's a fellow land investor. I'm like, how much money could this guy possibly be making if I'm buying it from him for $1,600? And unless he's getting it for free, or some kind of just took on the taxes. And I sold that the next day for $7,000. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that was sweet. I didn't have to look for the deal. I didn't have to do anything. I just sold it. And then I stay in contact with this guy, and he emails me every now and then. And he's sent me one, maybe a month or two ago, and he's like, hey, I have this one, looking for $4,000. I was like, no doubt about it. Picked up for $4,000, and I sold it the next weekend for $10,000. So those are my two easiest deals. I didn't have to do anything other than this guy emailed me, said I have this property. I literally sent him a payment. He had it deeded to me the next day. I marketed it the next day. My phone was off the hook, and then it was sold. And I'll tell you one of my secrets, which you'd be surprised to hear, but I think a lot of people know that I've told about, is I sell land on TikTok. Yeah. So TikTok for me has been incredible. I had a couple properties, or ones where I got over 250,000 views, and from that, I funnel people to my website, and they go to my website, and they submit their email addresses online, and then all of a sudden I have like 1,200 emails of potential buyers and people checking out my website, and it's getting organic traffic to my website now. So that's been a huge way of me selling properties is through TikTok. So I sold 5 properties on TikTok since October.
Since
That's
October.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and you're slowly building a network of people who are interested in buying, right? So one of the biggest secrets of it's not even much of a secret, but you gotta get your property in front of as many people as possible.
Yep.
And TikTok is just another way of getting your property in front of them. So I personally have never done it. I haven't done it, but yeah, I've seen other people doing really well with it. Yeah, and do you feel like that's been probably the easiest way of selling your property?
Yeah, I would say I'm a combination of, the Facebook Marketplace. I've kind of fallen off of. I did all the free places, Craigslist, the Zillows, the Facebook Marketplace, landlistings.com, and then now having my website, driving traffic to my website via TikTok, and then now having this, huge buyers list and some other groups that I kind of push it to. So, I mean, I haven't. The longest I've held onto a property is maybe a couple months, and those are crappy properties. I'm trying to kind of stay away from those now. So anything I'm buying, I kind of already know it has a demand. And another way also is a lot of people are working with builders, so being able to contact builders and them being able to give you their prerequisites of what they're looking for, and you're literally just filling orders for them. So that's another strategy.
Definitely. No, that's really good. Yeah, and when you're selling, well, how do you like to sell it? On terms, or is it on with cash deals, or how do you like to do it?
Yeah, I would always want my cash deals, but I tend to get, 25 to 30% more, for the owner financing. And a lot of times on my owner financing deals, what I'm doing is the down payment I'm getting from that buyer is equal to what I'm into the property for. So, or, like right around that area. So it's literally, pretty much getting a property for free and then having cash flow coming in month to month, and that makes you feel comfortable with being able to send out mail, because I currently have 6 or 7 properties on terms, and taking a decent amount a month, and I'm know that I have consistent cash flow coming in for the next 3 or 4 years on some of these, and I'm able to kind of take that and put it back into the business.
Definitely.
Awesome. Yep. Now, Mike, when you were starting out, just so that all the viewers can kind of get a gist of what they can expect, what challenges, what was like the most challenging thing when you were starting out?
Most challenging thing, I think it was getting a consistent cycle of like how I want to send my mail out. At first, I would probably do like 1,000 or 1,500 at once, and then kind of wait. I got one under contract. Oh, I'm gonna sell it, and then kind of taking that property and trying to sell it from there. And then all of a sudden, I would sell it, and then I would be in a situation where I'm like, oh, now I got to get more mail out. So I've now kind of got a better cadence in which I'm downloading, 2,000 or 3,000 records and having all that data, and then really just sending out 500 to 700, pieces of mail a week. So now I have a consistent cadence, and I kind of have a consistent flow of calls coming in. And other than that, I would say it would be like kind of my confidence on the phone and being willing to walk away from a deal. Not everything is a deal. So, and I think that confidence shows through on the phone with people of almost being willing to walk away on a deal. If you're going to bend or fold for everybody, it can be sensed, I believe, by the other person on the phone. So that's been something that I've worked on and gotten a lot better at, is, kind of just my being able to be on the phone and not talk so much, like kind of be quiet, listen and find out what their problem is. Try to solve someone's problem versus trying to necessarily profit off them. Because if you sit there and listen and figure out what someone's problem is, you're going to be more successful, in closing a deal.
Yeah. And people like to talk about themselves. So, when you reach out to them or they reach out to you and you listen to them, it's a lot easier to close them afterwards, because then they'll start feeling, like they can trust you. You build some rapport that way. That's honestly the best way to build rapport, is just to listen to them and ask the right questions.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. So I've helped just students who are like, man, they say yes, or they say yes by signing the contract, and I get them on the phone, and then they end up bailing or whatever. What happened?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the times people, it's not, I mean, especially if you're starting out and if you don't have.
Sorry, my little guy is like doing whatever he's doing upstairs there.
That was funny.
No worries. But yeah, and so building rapport just is huge because yeah, you build trust, and they're more likely to go through with it, right? And it happens. People fall through on deals, and it's unfortunate, but yeah, it makes a huge difference. So yeah, cool. And so you right now are actually a full-time worker, and you do land flipping on the side. How are you able to manage both? And do you feel like it's manageable for anyone, right? So anyone who's looking into this, and if they're a full-time job, what advice do you have for them?
Definitely. I mean, it's a lot of late nights, is what it is. It's not, it's you got to put the work in. There's no doubt about it. I do work a full-time job, so my land business. I send out the mailers, and then I have ways of them to contact me. So I'm not answering the phone directly when they're contacting me. I kind of have a voicemail that has them leave their reference number or their APN, and then it gives me a chance to do some due diligence and get back to them. So that's why I know a lot of people have other ways of doing SMS, maybe ringless voicemails, cold calling, things like that. Those are things I want to incorporate in my business when I do have more time, or hire a VA to be the person doing that stuff. But for right now, the mailing format is what works nice for me because I get things out in the mail, and then there's nothing I need to do at that point other than wait for someone to contact me. And I can figure out times like, hey, I get off work, I have 2 hours, so I know these 3 people called me. I'm going to get back to them. I'm going to email them. I'm going to call them, do whatever I need to do, try to lock up that deal. And from there, I mean, I'm lucky because I get to work from home, and I've worked from home for the past year due to the whole COVID thing. So I have, kind of 2 laptops up on my, kitchen table, working both jobs, and doing as much as I can, with my land business while I'm working my W-2 job. But it's definitely it's doable. You just got to be willing to put the time in after hours, and just kind of grind. And hopefully you grind enough, you get that done, you get to a point where your land business is making some money, and hopefully you can be done with that W-2 job at some point.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
as soon as possible. That's
yeah.
cool, man. Well, yeah, I think these live sessions usually go for about 30 minutes. So what we want to do right now is to open it up to the people who are watching. Mike, thank you so much for your knowledge and your experience and sharing that with us and also with the viewers and whoever's been watching it. But if you are interested in learning about land flipping and learning about how to actually make money in this industry, because there's a lot of stuff you can be wasting your time on, and a lot of things that will be taking or things that will get you closer to your revenue goals a lot faster, especially if you have a formula set in place. And so what I do every single day, what Dale does and what Mike does is they follow a formula and they stick to it pretty much, and they make their money, right? And so if you are interested in learning more and working directly with us, which is the Land Investing Pros, you can comment formula below, and we'll reach out to you and see if we can help you out and see if we're a good fit. But for right now, what we'll do is we'll open it up to you guys, and if you have any questions, let us know. We'll be on here for a few minutes, so any questions, we will answer them right now.
And I just want to say, man, it's just take action. Like, you're never going to have your system perfect. You're never going to have everything set up. It's all market, just market. And,
Yep.
once you send mail out, you have to react when that phone rings. So you have no choice. So you're never going to know it all. You're never going to have your system perfect. Get some mail out, start calling people, start texting people, whatever you got to do, get them contacting you. And that's your first step, because now they're going to contact you and you have no choice but to start following through. So
Yeah, no, exactly.
Actually, quick question for me, Mike. Like, what are your goals for maybe in the next 6 months?
sorry, you were breaking up a little bit. One more time.
Your goals in the next 6 to 12 months. What are you looking to do? What are you hoping to
Man,
accomplish?
it's not really, honestly, it's not about volume for me. Like, I don't care if I do 10 deals or if, versus people are doing like 50 deals or whatever. Um, I need to be, my goal is I need to be making, profiting over 100 grand a year, somewhere between 100 and 150 grand a year. If doing that on a consistent basis, I definitely want to be doing a lot more than that. But I think that that's a very reasonable goal for this business, to start even.
Yeah. No, and I think that's good to have a goal that's focused on revenue rather than just like the volume of your business or the volume of your inventory, because you can get deals that are going to bring you so much profit. I mean, so much revenue, and then there's the small deals as well. It just depends on what you want to focus, and that's the great thing about this business is that you can focus on the small deals, or you can go straight into the big deals if you want. So that'll give you return some cash.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. No, that's cool, man. That's that, and yeah, like you said, Mike, I think it's a very doable goal, and and that's life changing. It's doable and it's life changing to be able to make an extra 100K in a month and a year from your investments. Like, that's just no, that's pretty cool and very doable. Um, cool. So yeah, well, I guess we'll just I don't know if y'all have a question, then leave the questions in the comment section. We'll get to it. If you're watching a replay of this, then what we'll do, you can still leave a question in here, but we'll go back in and we will answer what we got out there.
Oh, I
So
see that. I see the Uncle Carl Yahoo theory. That's right. I see someone put that. That's exactly who I got that from. Uncle Carl's the man.
Yeah, a lot of people relating to this.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I already have the course and need help pricing an area correctly. Cool. So in the course, one of the first modules actually we go over how to actually price the area, and I guess we can give some more clarity as to how that's done. But yeah, I guess I don't know, Mike. Do you have some insight on that question?
I mean, how to price an area? I mean, it really depends on the area you're in. Like, I'm working in Texas now, and it's been a bit of a challenge, obviously, dealing in some of these non-disclosure states where you're unable to see some of the sold prices. You can look on realtor.com and see some of the pending ones there, so that can give you some kind of a gauge. And then if you if you work with realtors in the area, build relationships with certain realtors, and I have realtors in a few areas where I can send them something, and the relationship I have with them is, hey, I have this potential property. Do you have any buyers for it? If you do, great. And if not, kind of where's the price need to be on this? And then it gives me a way to kind of go back and negotiate. And if my seller wants more of a retail number, the relationship I have with that realtor in relation for them, giving me that information is I will point them in their direction if they want to sell retail. And so they're getting business from me, pushing the guys that want retail to them, and then they're giving me some feedback and information about the properties.
The market. Yeah. Like you said, Texas. So to clarify for some people who don't know what a non-disclosure state is, it's just where they don't have to. Some states you don't have to disclose how much a property sold for. So if you go onto Zillow and you look at the sold filter and you look at the properties that are sold in Texas, wherever in Texas, it won't show the amount it has sold for. So because of that, it makes it a little bit hard to determine how much you want to price an offer, and also a little bit hard to determine how much you want to sell the property, because really what determines the value of a property is just the market, how much properties are selling for, which is really weird, right? Like everything else is determined by the size of the house or how many rooms or whatever, but land is really determined on the location and how much everything else is selling for. And with non-disclosure states, it makes it a little bit hard to do that. But you can see what's on the market. Yeah, but cool. Yeah, so I think we're gonna end it here for everyone who's watching. But Mike, thank you so much for hopping on, and I think we should definitely have you on. It was a good conversation. I think you gave a lot of good nuggets to the group, and Let's see. We got one more. Let's see what this guy says. I have a property, but I like all cash. Only many buyers. I'm trying to way to use a third party or have much more potential buyers. Yeah, you could do that. Third property, I like all cash. Is there a reason why you want all cash? Is it you just want your money back as fast as possible? I'm guessing. Uh, doing finance is the way to use a third party. So I haven't found an effective third party like note holding company. So these are people like pretty much who are they're gonna give out a loan, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't had success in that. What about you, Mike? Do you have any?
No, I mean, I guess when I first read that, it makes me think of someone who's in a buy your note, or maybe there's
Yeah,
people out there that buy notes. I don't know what percentage and kind of how long it needs to be in good standing for, but that's still you locking up an owner financing and then selling that note to someone. But that's kind of my first thought when I read that one.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yes, I'm sorry.
The next
Don't do the third one. Starting out, I need liquidity. Yeah, yeah. But either way, it's like you're gonna have to tie down for financing or just find a cash buyer. Just hold it until you find a cash buyer if that's what you want. But yeah, that's what I would do. But cool. So we'll end it there. Thank you all again. And if you are interested in working with us again, leave a comment formula, and we'll reach out to you and we'll get a whole conversation going to see where you're at in your business and see if we can help you grow to the next level. But I'll see you all next week. See you guys.
Cool, man.
Take
Appreciate
care.
it. Thank you.
All right.